So thanks everyone for joining our Clinked 101, and today we're going to look at members and permissions. So I'd just like to introduce you to our team. So today you'll be meeting myself. I'm Clinked's business administrator, and this is my colleague Sarah, our CRO. And today we're going to be looking at members firstly. So we're going to define what a member is, look at a user story and different types of members in Clinked. And then we're going to move on to permissions and looking at what these are in Clinked and how you can set them up, and also guest permissions. And then we're going to have a Q and answer session. So if you have any questions at the end, just let us know, or if you have any questions as we go, we'll be happy to answer them if you want to put them in the chat. So firstly, what is a member? So members are foundational aspects, and to think of them as users. And members can be part of certain groups within Clinked, and there are 4 different types of members which we're going to look at shortly. So this is our environment in Clinked. So as you can see, the first circle shows the first place where you will be able to see members, but this is only administrators can only see this feature. Whereas this second circle, every group member will be able to find members using this icon. So we're just going to look at a user story example to help explain the different user types. So we've come up with Bidex, which is an insurance company. And the first person you can see is Amanda. So she is our Senior Vice President of Clients. So it's her role to look after all of the clients in the company and manage clients. And this is Sam, the client manager. So he deals with all the client inquiries for Bidex. And Willowbend Investments is one of their clients. So yeah. So this is Francisco, one of Amanda and Sam's clients, and this is Evelyn, another client. So they'll be working collaboratively with the team. So now we're just going to look at what type of members they are in Clinked. So firstly, Amanda is our super admin. So she's in control of all the settings in Clinked. So she can control and adjust the account settings and add people to the members list, and is basically in control of all the Clinked users. And Sam is our group administrator, so he just admins his own groups rather than everyone. So every group that he creates in Clinked, he will become the group administrator for that group in particular. And Francisco is a content contributor. So this means he'll be able to view, edit and comment on documents in the groups he's part of. For instance, when he's working with Amanda and Sam, he'll be able to go in, view these documents and edit them. And finally, Evelyn is another client, but she's only a member, so she is basically read only. So she'll be able to read things that she's been assigned and Clinked. And she'll be able to view, download and share content to other users, but she will not be able to contribute to the content.
So I think with that, we're going to move into actually showing you how they would actually be using Clinked. And so with that, we're going to actually share. We are going to share, if I can get it to come up, we're going to share in Bidex, and actually we'll keep this going for the moment while I get that going. Apologies. Looks like my Chrome has closed out, so hold on one moment for me. We thought it would be very important for all of you to be able to see how someone would be able to access it, and we're actually going to look specifically at Amanda's use case. So let me stop sharing, log into this account. Great. I'm going to share my screen, And here we go. Okay, so from Amanda's use case, we are going to show you how she would actually set up the different users or the different members in the group. So from Amanda's perspective, she is, as Hannah said, the account admin. So she has the rights to be able to change things across the entire account. So across her buttx client's Clinked account. She also then would be able to manage all of the different accounts that they have as well. So all of the different groups. So Willow Bend Investments is the one that we've been talking about as our user case. So we're just going to click into there. What Amanda's done is she's already invited, or she's already created the members for Sam, Francisco, and Evelyn, but she does want to be able to change their permissions now, or their user capabilities. So she's just going to come into the members account, or the members section that Hannah outlined before. And as you can see here, Evelyn is read-only, same thing with Francisco, and same thing with Sam. Sam, though, needs to be an account admin. So if we click onto Sam, this is where we can click administrator. And if you'll notice here, when I choose administrator, the can create content is automatically populated. That means that Sam is going to be able to create, add, update content in the group itself. I'm just going to hit update. And that now says that he's been updated. I'm going to do the same thing for Francisco, but instead of doing him as an administrator, I'm going to create him as a can create content. Now, the difference between that means that Sam is not going to be, or sorry, Francisco is not going to be able to access this settings area. So that means he's not going to be able to have the rights to be able to adjust which tools on the left-hand column is being shown. He's not going to have the right to be able to do what we just did, which is add and remove members. And he's also not going to be able to change, say, notifications of the group settings, the setup of the group itself. So say like the icon on the top left corner or things of that nature. So I'm just going to update that. And now you can see we've got the full setup in a way that Sam can now be the group admin and run everything going forward. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to bring us back into the presentation so that Hannah can go on and talk about permissions. All right, here we go.
So permissions, so firstly, what are permissions? Permissions are a way to structure who sees what within Clinked. And yeah, all the administrators can like adjust this. And as you can see, there's a little like padlock icon, and this is what represents permissions within Clinked. And if you click onto that, it will come up this tab that's showing below, and you'll be able to select the appropriate view for your client or team member. So now we're going to go back to our user case and look in this instance like who can set permissions. So Amanda as a super admin and Sam as the group admin will both be able to set permissions. And Francisco as a content contributor will also be able to set permissions. However, Evelyn as a member will not be able to adjust permission settings.
So before we move it back into Clinked to be able to show actually how to set up those folder permissions, one of the things we do want to highlight is that permissions themselves are part of the foundational structure of folders and files. So while permissions are foundational to the groups, the permissions, members are foundational to the groups. Folders or permissions for both folders and files is foundational to both of those areas to be able to make sure that you're properly permissioning who can see what and how they can see it and how they can interact with it. So we're going to look at the setting up folder permissions, and we're also going to look at setting up the file permissions. One of the other components we'll look at is how to use guest permissions as well. So guests are not members of a group. They're not members of your Clinked account. Guests are individuals who you would like to be able to have access to a single file or a single folder and the documents and folders that are underneath that. And there's a particular way to be able to set that up, and we'll go through that in just a moment. So let me just stop sharing my screen. I'm going to exit out of this and we'll navigate back into buttocks to be able to go through it. And we're actually going to go through it from Sam's perspective this time so that we can actually visit how it would look from that side of things. So let me just share my screen again. There we go. All right, so I'm going to log in as Sam. Great. And just as before, where we saw Evelyn, or we saw Amanda's information up here, this time we see Sam. So this is Sam's view into the group. You'll notice that he does not have access to any other group at this point in time because he is not an administrator of any other group, and so therefore, or a member of any other group. So therefore, he doesn't have the rights to be able to go into any other part of the buttocks client Clinked instance. But he does have the ability to be able to look at members. He also has the ability to be able to change members. As you can see here, he could change Evelyn if he wanted to. He can also remove members as well. He also has access to the trash area. So this is a component, if anything has been deleted, it could be either permanently deleted or restored from here. And in addition, as an account admin, he has the rights to be able to go into the setting area, or sorry, as a group admin, he has the rights to be able to come into settings to be able to change any of the group settings. So as mentioned before, that includes the names, the URL. He also has the right to be able to change this to be a restricted group, which means that no other member will be able to see each other within the group and everything will be read-only to any member of the organization. Also, he has the rights to be able to change any of the group tools. So you can see here, this group does not use events because that wasn't something that was important to the client. In addition, they would be able to do notification settings, and there's some other advanced settings within here too. But we'll come back out of that. So what we've been talking about now are permissions. Permissions, as I mentioned before, are really specific to files and folders. So we're just going to navigate to the file section. And as Hannah mentioned, there you can see the padlock that's here. So we're going to use Fund 1 as our example. Now, if I go into the padlock, Amanda's already gone through and made this so that it is actually can be shared with group members, and those group members are able to view, download, and share. Now, let's say that I actually want to change that. I can actually come here and say, you know what, I don't want them to download or share it, I just want them to view it. So I'm going to say update. Now, a good thing about being able to do that is if there are folders and files underneath that folder, they will actually take the permissions that are set from that parent folder. So Fund 1 is the parent folder. All other folders would be considered children folders or children files. So let's see what that looks like. In this case, we've got a side letter folder and we have 2 documents. If I go into the permission section, you can see permissions have been enabled because the padlock is highlighted. And if I come in here, it's just to view. If I wanted to actually change that, I could. So I could actually say, you know what, I want it to be viewed, but I only want to have a certain person be able to actually access this. This is where I could say, you know, the only person who I need to be able to see that is Francisco. And I'm going to say change. It's going to update and it's going to say to that one person. And then I can actually give additional rights to this and just say, I only want him to be able to view the side letters. And I'm just going to update that. If I logged in as Evelyn, Evelyn wouldn't see this. Francisco, though, would, and Sam will see it as well as a group admin. Now, if I wanted to say do the private placement memorandum and have a look at that, let's actually just navigate back real quick. You can see, though, if this still contains the same rights as what was set up before by the parent folder of the Fund 1. Now, one of the other things I wanted to be able to go over with all of you today was guest permissions. So if I say wanted to send this file to someone, and in this use case, I'll actually just use myself. And if I wanted to actually share this with someone, what I can do is I can navigate into the file itself. I can come in and I can actually go shared with if this is something that's activated within your Clinked account, and you can go to share. Now, when I come to share, I can actually type in the email address for the person. this is, mind you, a sharing with guests. So guests themselves are not members of Clinked. If they were members of Clinked, you could just comment to them. You could make sure that it's shared with them specifically, and then they get notifications for it based upon their permissions. However, in this case, I know I'm not actually set up as a member, so I'm just going to send this to myself. I'm going to say, hi, Sarah, please review for your comments. Thanks. Now this email will this will be sent as an email with a link to be able to access this file. I can also set up a few different notifications. So if I knew this document was going to continuously be updated over time and I wanted Sarah to have access to it, I could actually click to notify that person via email if the content has been updated at all. I can also set security settings. So if I want to set an expiration date, which is something that we recommend doing, you can actually set that. So say I wanted to do it for today and I wanted to do it for, let's just say 9 p.m. UK time. So this is BST, and this will always be dependent upon your geographic location where you're logging in. Then I can do that. I can also then require a password if I want to, and then I'm just going to hit share. Now, I'm just going to show you what this would look like for a guest. So while I do that, mind you, we've been in here as Sam. However, we're going to actually log in as me. So we're gonna be able to come here and open a new tab. The other things you can do here, just for your awareness, is you can actually copy this link and be able to send it back to them if you want to. You can edit the link as well. So let's say, you know what, actually, I know she's not going to be able to look at it by 7 o'clock tonight. Instead, I just want to change it to 8, and I'm just going to say update. I could resend if I wanted to, or I can always delete it as well. So that's a great way for you if you want to just make sure that nothing is going to be open to anybody. You could do that. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to open this in a new tab so you can see what it looks like from a guest view. So as you can see here, it's still branded with BudX clients. It has the name of the document itself, and then it's also got the document as well. In here, if I wanted to, and I could say, hey, Sam, had a review, can we set up a call? I can do that, and I can post my comments. And now that will be there, and Sam will get a notification as well as any other group member who's supposed to receive those notifications. Other things that they can see in here too are versions. So say there were multiple versions that were in here and they had been uploaded by someone else, they would show on here, and I could always download to be able to review the multiple versions. It's really helpful in a law use case if you want to be able to look at multiple versions of a single document. In this case, you know, we're looking at an investment management firm, and it is actually around the structuring of a fund. So similarly, it is legal documentation. In addition, you could have activated the approval section too. So that would be the view. You can see they can't access anything else. Even if they click on the BudX clients, it is going to come and say, you need to be able to register here. So I'm going to actually close out of this. I'm going to log back in as Sam. Oops. Oh, sorry. Let me just change the URL and just go straight back to BudX. There we go. So the reason why that was not working is because it was, if you looked at the end of the hyperlink, is it said it was shared. So it was actually expecting it to be my account that I had been logging in with, which was my personal email address. So now you can see we're back to Sam. And if we go to the files area and we go to that specific file, you'll be able to see that note that I left there. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to hand it back to Hannah to be able to go over questions and answers. So let me just share my screen real quick. And if you have a question, you can pop it into the chat, or you can unmute yourself and ask the questions as you would like to. And please feel free to ask anything about, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was writing while you were. So if you send something, if you share something with a guest and you add an expiration date, does it alert them of the expiration date?
So in the email itself, it should, I'm just going to
Okay.
check my email and I'll tell you exactly what it says. Yeah, so in the email itself, it does not say the expiration date. Oh, actually, sorry, that's the wrong one. No, it doesn't show the expiration date. It,
Okay.
yeah, but it will, when you go in to view it, it will not show you the expiration date either. So that might be something that you want to be able, it's more of your permission. So it's for you to be able to control how long they'll have access to it. So I
Okay.
would suggest that you just let them know and say, please come back with any comments by the end of the day tomorrow. The document will not be live after that. But if you need an extension, you can extend it as well just by going into that edit section that we were looking at beforehand. And then you can just extend it for the time period and send an updated note.
Okay. And then for as far as the password, is do you set the password or does it generate its own password or how does that work?
No, you would set the password, and then you do have to share that password with them. So that's
Okay.
the only thing is that you would have to either verbally tell them or figure out an alternative way to be able to do that. Maybe it's via because it's a guest, they won't be accessible to your chat functionality inside of Clinked.
Okay.
So yeah, you'd have to figure that out.
Sure. And then in terms of permissions, so if you have like a children files don't automatically get the permission of the parent file.
They do. They do automatically get the permissions of the parent
Okay.
file.
Okay. And is there, and I think I might have asked you about this one-on-one, but there's no way to prevent, so let's say you have two files in your files and you want the client to have access to one file and not another, is there a way to prevent them? Because okay, just to give my example, just to be more clear. So I have a client folder and then my own folder. My own folder, the client can view, can download, that sort of thing. But the client folder, they can edit. So ideally, that would be where they send me documents. But
Mhm.
what I've noticed the client doing is just dumping the documents in the file instead of in their file. So it's not in my file, but it's under almost like creating new files
So
instead of putting them in one of the, yes,
it's just in the main file section.
yes, exactly. So they'll just
Okay.
put it there instead of
Yeah.
putting it in their client file.
So you can make it so that they are just a member, a base. Are they just a base member, or do you have them set up so that they can create content?
Yes, because I'd like them to be able to upload things, but I
Yep.
want it to be limited to one particular folder.
Okay. That would be something I think we need to explore on our side to show you exactly how to do that.
Okay,
So yeah, that's something I can come back to you on.
okay, sure.
Yeah.
And this isn't directly related to what we've been talking about, but so I noticed export member and group data. What
Mhm.
does that do?
Yeah, so that's where you as a group admin or as an account admin, you're able to export your information that's inside of the Clinked group
So
in
does that
bulk.
so that means everything that's in that group?
Yes, yeah. So it's going to give you a few different options of how the documentation or how the data can be exported.
Mhm.
But if you go into that, you can explore it a bit without exporting anything.
Okay, sure. And the same goes with exporting a member?
So exporting a member, I believe it's going to be it's going to be as a CSV file. So it'd
Okay,
be all their contact information that they've provided or you've provided under their member profile.
okay, great. All
Yeah.
right, thank you.
Cool. And it looks like we have another question, which is when a client is created and added as a team member, if I do not choose a team member role, can they still view the documents? So if you haven't chosen a team member role, meaning you've added them to the group, you just haven't chosen whether or not they can create content or if they're an admin. Is that correct? Okay, great. In that case, they will be set up as a base member. So the example we were giving was Evelyn. So Evelyn is able, if she's a member of the group and she is able to view the documentation that is there, but she is not able to create content or add content. And the documents will be set by the permissions that you've set up for the folder and then the subfolders. Great. Fantastic. Does anyone have any additional questions, or Hannah, do you have anything to add on either of those?
No, I was just going to say if they were added to the group, they should be able to view the documents in that group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Well, great, fantastic. I think, well, with that, I think we are done with our side. Some of the things that we have, just first off, we just want to say thank you so much from all of us at Clinked. We are going forward, we'll be offering these Clinked 101 sessions, which will be about a specific feature area or tool within Clinked to be able to give our clients a bit more 101 style training about those areas. We'll be offering those generally on once a month, so generally at the beginning of the month, just like this. So the next one will be at the beginning of June. Hard to believe that it's going to be June. And then in addition to that, we are actually going to be doing another webinar later this month. I think it's going to be Thursday, the 21st of May. And that is going to be more of a knowledge share. So talking about how clients are using Clinked to be able to better work with their clients. And so within that it will be about how to deliver more to clients as well as teams. We'll dig in a bit more with some use cases. We'll talk a bit more about dashboarding and what you can do within groups to be able to deliver more. So we'll send out an email early next week with links to be able to sign up for that. So hopefully you'll be able to join if that is something that is relevant. Otherwise, keep an email or keep an eye out for emails for other 101 classes as well as future webinars. And so with that, Hannah, do you want to say goodbye for all of us?
Yeah, thank you for joining.
All right.
Well, thank you for having this. I get a lot out of it.
Oh, we're very happy to hear that, Wendy, and we'll definitely come back to you in regards to your question.
Sure, thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Great. Thank you. You too.
Thank
Have a
you.
great rest of your day.
Bye.
Enjoy your day. Thank you. Bye.